Good evening, everybody. We are the parents of Itay Chen, Ruby, and Hagit, a U.S. citizen held by Hamas for over 569 days. I am a proud New Yorker, born and raised in the city. We have here New Yorkers here with us. There we go. Here we are, some New Yorkers. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the American Jewish Committee for inviting us. And I want to say a big thank you to the AJC leadership team, Ted, Julie, Jessica, Houston, God knows so many more, for being in our corner for almost 20 months, helping us coordinate hundreds of meetings in the White House and Congress, and never letting us feel that we are standing alone when going into Washington. So give a big thank you, AJC. So I moved to Israel, met my wife. We decided to build our home in the city of Netanya, about 10 miles north of Tel Aviv. We have 3 sons. Itay is the middle sibling. Our eldest just finished IDF service in a technology unit. Our youngest son, Alon, actually had his bar mitzvah a week after, October 7th. Itay enlisted into the IDF, joined the tanks division, and was stationed at a base called Nahal Oz on the border of Gaza that fatal Saturday morning. He and his team were mobilized. They fought for a number of hours, protecting Israeli civilians from being murdered by these savages. But after a couple of hours, no backup, their tank was neutralized, and 3 of the 4 tank members were taken hostage. The 4th one actually was killed, pinned down in the tank, and brought to burial a few days after. That ended the battle of Itay and his team members. But then a new battle began. The battle of 241 families, a battle to bring our loved ones back home, because the government of Israel, unfortunately, have not prioritized this goal of bringing all the hostages out, but prefer to dismantle Hamas before that. And we've heard that, unfortunately, from Israeli cabinet members, even publicly, the last week. And we even had a cabinet member here in the United States this week say the same thing. And it's very simple, folks. Total victory does not happen only until the last hostage comes out. When President Trump won the election, we felt a renewed sense of hope. We believed in his leadership, his strength, and personal concern for American hostages would lead to real movement. And I deeply thank President Trump for demanding the release of all the hostages, even before his inauguration, that brought out the release of 33 hostages, including 2 U.S. citizens. At the same time, it has been almost 100 days since the new U.S. administration took office with the clear policy of America First. For American families like mine, families whose loved ones are still being held by Hamas, we prayed that we would already have seen additional results for this policy. But my son, Itay Chen, a dual U.S. citizen, remains still in captivity. So do other 4 American citizens. We just heard from Yael and Adi of their son, Idan Alexander. We have here in the audience the parents of Omer Neutra, Orna and Ronen, with us today. And we have Judy and Gadi Weinstein from Connecticut that are also hostages, as well as other 54 hostages still in Gaza. Every day that passes by without their return is another day of anguish, uncertainty, and pain. And we wake up each morning with the same simple dream. We get a call from the White House saying, Mr. Chen, Mrs. Chen, we want to say to you, your son is on his way back home, and we hope that day comes soon. I believe that President Trump cares profoundly, but the truth is, the first 100 days of his administration have not delivered what the President himself demanded: the release of all of the hostages, including the U.S. hostages as well, and sending a clear message to terrorist organizations anywhere that holding U.S. citizens anywhere is a liability, not an asset. And that the United States needs to say that American lives are not bargaining chips to be used. As the weeks pass, the fear grows that the window to bring our loved ones back is narrowing and will disappear forever. We have seen this administration act boldly on other areas to implement the American First policy. For example, when it comes to economic policy, tariffs and financial pressure have already been deployed as tools of American strength. We need to apply similar pressure to release the remaining hostages. The U.S. is not just a facilitator in this conflict, but has direct equity in the form of Hamas killing on that day 45 U.S. citizens and injured hundreds more. Justice needs to be seen, and my family, as well as the other hostage families, have urged the administration, the Department of Justice, Treasury, to expand their efforts to bring out the hostages. President Trump is an extremely gifted negotiator. His team successfully released dozens of U.S. citizens from war zones with direct negotiations. And I urge from here President Trump to directly negotiate himself for the release of the U.S. citizens in Gaza, rather than use third parties, such as Qatar, to negotiate for the release of these U.S. citizens. In January, we saw what the President's direct involvement can do to release the hostages. I'd like to close my remarks by asking you to remember one word: unity. The Jewish people have prospered and survived for over 5,000 years on the principle of taking care of one another and not leaving anyone behind. This unity has been missing in Israel, and I urge the members of the AJC to take a stand and be more vocal in demanding the Israeli government show the required unity which has been the backbone of the Jewish faith for so many years. Prioritizing the release of all the hostages and setting a target. We want to know when the last hostage is coming out. It needs to be by the end of May, and work backwards, knowing that there is a difficult price to pay for the release of the last hostage. But this is what is required to allow Israel to begin the healing and start a new chapter of rebuilding of its future. I would like to end with quoting a great American, Martin Luther King, in his famous speech, "I Had a Dream." He used the phrase, he coined the phrase, "the fierce urgency of now." The fierce urgency of now. And that is what we today are asking you, ladies and gentlemen. Think of the urgency of now. Ask yourselves and challenge yourselves, what can you do to help bring out the hostages? Those of you living in the United States, I urge you, when we leave here, go call up your senator. Go call up your congressman. Ask him, what have you done today to bring hostages out? If you're from Europe, call your parliament member. Ask the same thing. And end that question by saying, I'm going to call again the next day, and the next day, until we see all of these 59 hostages coming out. Bring them home now. Bring them home now.